The Tesla-dominated EV market is becoming crowded. Some of the competition can even be summoned. Sort of. I summon thee. Come on. Yes, this is the Kia EV6, if you didn't know by now. Anyway, off you go. Bye. Jesus. I mean, are you going to be using it in real life scenario? Off you go. The EV6 is an EV, built on the new E-GMP platform which Kia shares with Hyundai. There's going to be many comparisons to the IONIQ 5 as well as the Skoda Enyaq and the VW ID.4. Based on some of the comments I've seen on my Instagram regarding the EV6 and the IONIQ, one could stipulate the Hyundai design is bolder and therefore Kia better suits the more conservative buyer. Which one do you like better? Let me know in the comment section below. However, don't be fooled into thinking the IONIQ 5 and the EV6 are the same car in different packaging. The Kia is longer, narrower, has shorter wheelbase, greater ground clearance, slightly smaller boot, it's got larger batteries and greater range than the Hyundai. Like in the IONIQ, also in the EV6 there is a frunk under the bonnet, just what you need to store all your cables, tire repair kit, warning triangle, etc. In the back, like in the IONIQ 5, also in the EV6, reversing camera is in the middle of the tailgate where the release button should be. The boot volume is almost the same, 520 in the Kia versus 527 liters in the Hyundai. The cargo cover fits under the double floor, but in order to make full use of the cargo space, it's best to leave the top floor and the cargo cover at home. There are no shopping bag hooks, but there are release levers for the rear seats, and there's also a 12-volt socket. In the Hyundai, the rear seat could slide to make more room in the boot. In the Kia, the seat doesn't slide. There is a 230-volt socket in the middle by the floor, while the USB ports are on the front seats. Both of them are USB-C. Air vents are in the B-pillars because, like in the IONIQ, also in the EV6, the center console is not attached to the dashboard and there would be no way for the air to pass through it. Rear seats are heated, part of a winter package, and the backrest angle is adjustable. Door pockets are just big enough for medium-sized bottles. There are also cup holders in the armrest, and behind it is a small ski hatch, which Hyundai didn't have. It's a shame Kia didn't make a 40-20-40 split backrest. It's also a shame there is no place for feet under the front seats. I'm just 175 centimeters tall, but my thighs are in the air because the floor is thick due to the battery pack. When you sit behind the wheel of the Kia EV6, it's just like in the Skoda Enyaq. From the outside, the EV6 seems like a tall car, but the floor is also high, so you end up sitting like in a sedan, and there's not much headroom left. Also, the visibility is poor because of this thick A-pillar, which is at a very acute angle. Like in the IONIQ, also in the EV6, the cockpit seems very wide and open, but that's just an illusion created by disconnecting the center console from the dashboard. However, once seated, you start wondering what's this huge console for anyway, because it just takes up some space for your knee. I suppose it is better than in the IONIQ, where I hit the gear selector stalk with my knee. Here, the gear selector is a rotary dial on the console. The console also features touch buttons for ventilated and heated seats, as well as the heated steering wheel. Then there's this beautifully crafted silver panel with a bulge around the start button. And then there are just buttons for the camera, parking sensors and auto hold, cup holders and a wireless charger, to which you'll have to run a USB cable from one of the two floor-mounted USB ports, because guess what? Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are not wireless. Storage under the armrest and the glove box are decent size, and so are the door pockets. The dashboard is made up of two screens like in the IONIQ. Here the graphics are dark, while in the IONIQ the interface was much lighter. Below is the AC radio control panel, and it is unnecessarily complicated. Instead of two rows of buttons, Kia decided to display either AC or radio controls and assign different functions to the same buttons. Nice, but pointless. More useful maybe the lounge mode feature for drivers and passengers who may want to take a power nap during charging. There's a dedicated button for turning the seats into a lounge chair. I guess it would also be useful if you decide to live in your car and you'll want to use the vehicle to load adapter to power your various accessories from the car's traction battery. You can activate this function from the infotainment system menu. And since we're in the back here, it's nice that the charging port flap is like electric, all automatic and stuff. Ooh, 21st century, huh? But the flap, or rather plug cover for the lower part of the CCS port, is not a spring-loaded flap. It's just something like this on a plastic string, so yeah, this is gonna look great. The Kia EV6 comes with a 58 or 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery pack. The basic version is rear-wheel drive only. It has 170 horsepower and up to 394 kilometers range in the combined cycle. The 77s can be rear-wheel drive like this one, 229 horsepower and around 500 kilometers range, or all-wheel drive, 325 or 585 horsepower and the range almost 500 and around 400 kilometers respectively. The 585 horsepower version can compete against the Porsche Taycan Turbo. The test example may not be quite as quick, but its 0 to 100 km per hour time is on par with the manufacturer's claims. The difference between results in the Eco and Sport mode is negligible. But regardless of the power output, Kia and Hyundai can fast charge like the Porsche Taycan, assuming there is a fast enough charger along the route. Initially, I wanted to drive to one of Poland's two fastest 350 kilowatt chargers, but this being about 350 kilometers away from where I live, I worried I wouldn't make it without charging along the way, so I just did my usual city and motorway routes to test the energy use. Around the city, the EV6 uses 14 to 15 kilowatt-hours per 100 kilometers, 17 to 18 kilowatt-hours per 100 kilometers on B roads is achievable. Driving around the city, you'll easily get 500 kilometers on a single charge. But on the motorway, you better have a fast charger every 250-300 kilometers to leave a safety buffer. Achieving a good result in the city is easier thanks to recuperation, like in the IONIQ. Also here you can select recuperation levels from 0 to 3 or use the I-pedal, one-pedal driving, or radar-based recuperation, which will adjust braking level depending on the traffic. This test car is also equipped with an optional heat pump. Kia says, thanks to the heat pump at minus 7 degrees Celsius outside, the EV6 still gets about 80% range it would at plus 25 degrees Celsius. From my point of view, it's just hard to get the ideal temperature inside. Up to about 20.5 degrees, it's too cold, and above that, it's too hot. Ride and handling, like in most EVs, is pretty much meh. Sure, the EV6 is fast off the line, but that's it. You can spice things up with various artificial engine sounds. but I prefer to ride in silence. And that silence is interrupted by weak soundproofing. Yes, acoustic windscreen is standard, but in the Skoda Enyaq you can also specify, hear those cars, optional acoustic side windows, which Kia doesn't have, and as a result you can hear cars all around. Kia EV6 also gets a wide array of driver aids. Some are implemented well, like the cross-traffic monitoring system, which warns you about cars driving across your path when you are reversing. It will slow you down as well, but not to the point you stop and can't move, like it happened to me in the Suzuki Sways. Lane assist and adaptive cruise control are average. The keep your hands on the wheel message pops up too often, even when I'm holding the steering wheel. There is also a lane change assist system, which is so slow and needs so much clear space that you don't really need to use it. Once you try what BMW or Mercedes have to offer in this department, you won't settle for anything less. There is also a head-up display with what Kia describes as augmented reality. It's as disappointing as that in the VW ID models. I like Kia made use of side cameras for better blind spot monitoring. This system debuted in the Kia Sorento, and I think it should be implemented in every modern car. It's a shame there's no way to turn the camera on permanently, like when you parallel park and you don't want to hit the curb, but at least there's a decent 360 camera to keep those 20-inch rims pristine. Prices of the Kia EV6 start at €45,000. That's for the 58 kWh version, excluding any local incentives. This test car is a rear-wheel drive 77.4 kWh version, which starts at €49,000. This car has pretty much every option available on the non-GT line model, which bumps the price up to about €58,000. I've had my EV fascination phase, and I'm currently in the disillusionment phase. It's not specifically about the electric cars, because they are mostly appliances to get from A to B, but about the infrastructure, which is lagging behind what the car makers offer today. The Kia EV6 looks interesting, but like the Hyundai IONIQ 5, it could have been better, at least as good as the perfectly boring Skoda Enyaq. And how do you like the Kia EV6? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video, as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.